Brian Hodge, broker owner at the Realty Firm, and this is another edition of the No Secret Agent podcast, where we showcase members of the Realty Firm and our key allies inside of the real estate community, bringing you a spirit of culture and abundance to serve and support you in your business. And we are thrilled today to welcome Paige Smith, longtime amazing member at the Realty Firm, and we are located in her amazing Halcyon Homes Mall. Paige, welcome to the No Secret Agents podcast.
Thank you.
So we'd like to get started and share with our audience, a little bit about you, your journey inside of real estate, when you started, and, where you're at right now in terms of your business.
Okay. So I have been in real estate for about 13 years in January, 11 of those years with the Realty Firm. Amazing. So super excited about that. It's been a journey, seeing some different markets, some different circumstances, taking on new challenges, and really dove into new build probably about 5 years ago. That's been like a different area of the market to explore. So seen a lot, but still really excited to be doing it and with the Realty Firm. For sure.
Well, we're thrilled to work with you, number one, which we'll get into. What I'd love to know in terms of, the market, compared to when you started, that being, a place and space that's much different than the landscape right now, where would you say you've seen the changes leading up to this market?
I think there's been a number of changes. I think people along the way, we really stopped working like agent to agent relationships. And I think that's super important. So I think when I started, I feel like you would pick up the phone and call other agents, and you were doing open houses and you're meeting people. And if your buyer was interested in a property, you were calling the agent and getting it. But there was those relationships. I think we all blame COVID. We really strayed from that in that market, and things just became so transactional. It was like email, you would do a deal with someone and maybe never talk to them on the phone and face to face. Starting to see some of that come back. And when we can really dial into that, I think that's where we're seeing success in the market. So I'm happy some of that is coming back, because I think that's where, personally, that's where you can really thrive in real estate. And that's where the fun is. It's enjoyable. Otherwise, it can be a very, very lonely business.
Totally. And I think that, the art of communication has really been lost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the amount of times that even, I hear about it, but I also experience it where somebody shows a property, they don't ask any questions, and all of a sudden you just get an email of an offer.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't even know this person, was interested.
Yeah.
Now, how does that relate into, new construction? I want to talk about Halcyon a little bit more and your project here, which, by the way, we are in an absolutely outstanding luxury model home here with Halcyon Homes. But in terms of working with new construction, I mean, that's different than an agent showing a property, looking at some comp sales. Like, there's a lot of work that gets done with a builder and, finding out more details of what the home actually offers. So that communication must be even more necessary in this space.
Yeah. I think with the new build, it's even more so. So you show a resale, your buyer's interested, you might go through one time, you run the comps, see what if he assessed value, what if they put into it, where's the area, and you're getting one small dose of pricing. New build is so important, in my opinion, on that relationship component. So you have people that are maybe just exploring the idea of building a home. They're thinking about their future family in 3 to 5 years, but they're starting now. They want to see quality. They want to see craftsmanship and details and what can be done. So, I mean, I've met people who've come through open houses 2 years ago that are now coming back now, and now they're ready to list, and now they're ready to make a move. So it's the relationships you build and like the longevity of those connections is so different in new build, because it's very unlikely that transaction is happening overnight. It's not one call. It's not one showing. Model home's a little different, but the new build process is a very long process. And it should be. People should explore, and they should be involved, and they should really know what they're investing their money and potentially 8 to 10 months of their time into.
In terms of new construction and your journey in real estate, I mean, I know a lot about your journey with new construction and, how much an expert you become in the matter, but take us through that. You get started in real estate, typically, residential resale. How did your journey evolve into working with, properties like this?
Right. So I had a relationship with the builders before, and I knew that they were going to be taking on a subdivision build. I was really impressed with the custom, high quality, luxury nature and how they did things. I was fortunate to see some of their custom projects that they were working on. So I knew that if I was going to make the time investment to work for a builder, like that was something that I wanted to put into, right? Like sort of match energy. Like I knew that I was prepared to put in the work. So I wanted it to be something that I'd be proud to showcase.
Mm-hmm.
So when I connected with them, I met with them in a job site trailer, and I had a proposal of what I was willing to kind of offer and setting expectations and what I was, going to put in. And here we are in this subdivision that I, interviewed for 4 years later, sitting in one of their beautiful homes. So it was a process, but yeah, that's where it started. Job site trailer on a day like this in cold November.
Wow. The history of it's always amazing.
Yeah.
Especially when you get into these longer term commitments and relationships. And what I do know is that, working with any type of reputable home builder is a major commitment on an agent's behalf. There's a lot more that goes into that than just your typical resale home. Not that there's not a lot that goes into that as well, but what advice would you give to maybe a new agent or even an experienced agent starting out that feels that new construction may be, part of their business that they want to acquire?
And I've had these conversations with agents in our office or new ones. My opinion on it is don't take it on unless you're willing to take it on.
Mm-hmm.
It can sound great, and it certainly can be lucrative, and it can be proposed as something you can manage. Unless you're really prepared to invest yourself to do it properly, I think that it will just drain you. It is a lot of work, and you should be prepared for that. Know the product, understand it fully. You can ease buyers and answer questions if you really understand the product. Set expectations with the builder from the start. If it's a site that requires open houses and there's a model home, that's not something you can manage because of kids' schedules or other commitments, have another agent that you trust that you bring on from the beginning. It's a lot easier to set those expectations and create that sort of like dynamic from the beginning than be like coming up with excuses later as to how you haven't done something. And do what other people won't do.
Love it. Differentiating from the competition.
Which is what we try and do here. So we're trying to always do something that's different and kind of puts us on the map and makes people notice us. Because then you can bring them in here and then.
Mm-hmm. There's a major wow factor here. And I want to get into, the way that you do events and the way that you do your promotion. I think that'll be helpful for other agents and even members of the public to hear. When you look at, the dynamic of a larger commitment here, and what I would have easily observed over the, 11 years of a continually improving trajectory in your business. I mean, going into, a high performing realtor, even on the resale side.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that all while, raising young family as well?
Wow, it's been a blur. It's just, I just looked up one day and it was 8 years. A lot of coffee. I think having the community inside the office, obviously, like we lovingly refer to you guys as mom and dad. That's very important to us to have brokers you can call and be like, what do I do here? How do I navigate this? But again, with other agents, like I am lucky that I have a good community in the office of agents that I can call, whether it's a colleague or another mom, and I can call and say like, nobody will understand this other than you. Like what I had to battle this morning,
Mhm.
and I got to my showing on time, and that's a win. Or I just got this email. I'm heated. This is what I want to say. Talk me off the ledge. What should I say? Like that's really important to be able to get through because, again, it can be a lonely business. So if you have that community of agents, whether they're from your brokerage, another one that you can call them, lean on when you need it to kind of get you through, then I think that we all need that. So
I think that that goes to the element of subculture, the culture within a culture of a company, which we very much support. I think that, in a company our size or a larger company, lots of different personalities, different people. So obviously, people will attract to, different groups and whatnot. How important do you think it is for agents to interact, even if it's not part of the deal? Is it better being a part of your mindset, your mindset in the business?
Very much so. Because again, whether it's new build or resale and you're helping your buyers or sellers navigate this huge purchase, if you have confidence in the other agent, you're exuding that confidence to your client.
Mhm.
So if the deal's maybe not looking like it's going to come together, but you can call that agent and have a conversation with them, or you have a relationship with them because you picked up the phone and called them before, you can work a lot of things out by doing that. And you can give your clients that confidence. And if they feel that you have it, then it can be the difference maker. Mm-hmm. So even if the last deal you didn't get done with that agent, but you had a good rapport, you can say to your clients like, listen, I know this agent, let me call them. We're close. I think we can figure this out. Let's see what we can do to get this done. Mm-hmm. And I think that it goes a long way. So
I agree. I think that communication is so critical. I feel as though there's a lot of opportunity in any market. I'll say that all day long. That no matter what market is in, people are buying or selling. But I feel like agents have really kind of gone into secret mode lately, where they're not being proactive. They're not being proactive with their marketing. They're not being proactive with connecting within an office environment or within colleagues in the industry. And I feel that that's one of the major challenges right now for people in terms of their production dropping while this market has shifted. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to an agent that may be experiencing some struggle in terms of really getting their business going again?
Just show up. Go if you have nothing to do, and it can be a little bit discouraging. We've all been there in a market that's a rut, whether you're doing all the right things and things just aren't selling and buyers just aren't buying and you're frustrated. Call another agent, go to an open house, touch grass, just get out there and show up. You don't have to just post on your socials if I sold this, I sold 10 houses this month or whatever. Post something. For me, I'm fortunate that with new build, there's so much content that I can use in a lot of what I'm posting and doing, whether it's an event or a promo or a tease for something. It's not something I necessarily sold. It's something I hope to sell down the road, or it's things I'm trying to get going for later. But you don't have to wait to post a sold side to put something out there and engage with people. And if you're feeling like you're in a rut, then pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Show up. You have to show up in some way. No one's coming to your house to knock on your door to ask you to sell their house. So
I totally agree. And I feel that is a big part of what we call story branding, mm-hmm. Sharing the story of what we do rather than the just listed, just sold, generic or templated, stuff that we all do a bit of that.
Sure.
But I find that, even watching sometimes within the company, and not that we don't have people that, don't know how to promote themselves and their product, but I find oftentimes there's so many opportunities for an agent to share what they're doing on a day-to-day, whether they're coming into the office or they're going to a mastermind or they're, previewing an agent open or things. And you see some agents that are doing it really well, which I would say is a direct correlation to their business. But then there's other agents that they never post or share anything, and they're wondering why people don't know that they exist in terms of the business.
People get too worried that everything has to look a certain way. Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't posted a sold in so long, so I don't want to post this because people think I'm not working. Well, I'm paying attention. Mm-hmm. Your own clients aren't paying attention. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can put things out there and be, what would you want to see as a buyer? Mm-hmm. But for whatever you're looking for, you just kind of want to stay up there. Remind people you're there, and that doesn't have to be standing in front of a house or dancing in a kitchen or whatever you're doing. That stuff's all fun and great, but just remind people that you exist.
Yeah, we've got to remind people that we're not only in the business, but that we're open for business.
And we're people.
Yeah.
I think when it's too transactional and everything's about the aesthetic or thinking that you have to appear as this high performer, that's not real either. Just remind people that you're there and you exist.
For sure. Talk about events for a second. So you obviously have this exceptional product here, which clearly you've done an amazing job at promoting. What do events do for not only the product, but for your business as well? What's the real, I guess, mindset or purpose behind all these amazing events that I see you doing?
Yeah, so our main goal out here, and it's different with new build than resale, is knowing that that is such a slow burn, as I call it. It's a long cycle and process to bring people in, get them thinking about it. So the purpose of the events are to give back sometimes. Like we did a pumpkin open in October where I went to a local farm and got a whole bunch of pumpkins. I did just a pumpkin giveaway. So certainly we had people driving out here just to get their free pumpkin. That's fine, right? But we also had people in this neighborhood coming through and seeing the model and just like, wow. Or potential buyers coming to look at it as an open house. So it gives you a good mix and draw. And for an event, maybe someone who lives in this subdivision already and walks through. They're not our buyer, so they can be overlooked as someone that we're trying to reach. However, they walk through this model. They now go home and they're at a party with their friends and they're talking about the model. But we already know they like the area. And now they're having a conversation about us.
Sure.
So I think that with the event, it's reaching those opportunities that get overlooked. It's not just about an event to draw in a qualified buyer. That's the goal.
Yeah.
We know 100 people show up. There's a good chance maybe only 10 of them are going to be qualified buyers, and that's okay too, because there's maybe 10 conversations on top of that about us that are happening outside of here, and it's going to cost someone else to come to the next one or someone else to give us a call. So that's sort of the goal behind them.
So exposure. It's a feel good too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a big part of the business. Agents need to have fun doing this, even though it's ultra serious in terms of, the supporting somebody in an acquisition and for disposal of their biggest asset. But it's supposed to be fun as well. I think that communication with other agents can be a lot of fun too, instead of so serious. I always say that, the reason that a deal usually goes sideways is because of the agent's lack of communication or poor communication. What would you say that sets you apart in, your approach to real estate that maybe somebody could pick something up from, if they're watching this?
I've always, from the beginning, have always tried to come across as relatable, not put a lot of pressure on the process, the client, very much this is your rodeo. I'm just here to help. You're the shop caller type thing. Same thing with other agents, try to take that pressure off. And everywhere we go now, someone's trying to sell to us. Of course, that is the main component of our business, but I've always tried to just take a more I don't want to say friendly approach, but just pressure off. I'm here to help. And if it works, let's do this together and not kind of ram things down on people until they give, right? So same thing with buyers and or sellers. Sometimes it works. Hey, here's my idea. Here's my approach. Here's what I think we should do, but it's your call at the end of the day. And sort of here to help. And sometimes people walk away, or with offers, with the COVID market. People who are emotional and crazy, and they're not even looking at houses. They're walking in and they're just like, what do we have to do? Set a line in the sand, set the expectation, just like with the interview in the trailer 4 years ago, set an expectation there, draw the line in the sand and stick to that. So in a crazy market, when things are going wild, it's easy to throw another, 20 grand at something to get it done. This isn't just about winning on paper. It's about a decision you're making for the long term. So if you tell me this is your number, I'm not going to push you outside of that. Even if the agent calls me and wants to sweep things, set the expectation and just do your best to work with that.
But, when you talk about expectations, I think one of the greatest challenges in a shifting market is that expectations often remain high,
Yeah.
even though the market shifts differently.
Mhm.
And that's a really tough one, especially in a transitional
Yeah.
period where, we've gone from a couple of years ago, this insane seller's market to what changes in a transition where the market becomes more balanced. A lot of people don't have, the education or perhaps the means to understand what it will really take to sell their home, beyond the marketing, beyond a good realtor, a lot in terms of price, right? And the price is a tough one, especially for those that may have purchased in 2021 or, at the height of the market. How do you help a client manage, expectations of the market, not necessarily their own, because everybody's got an idea in mind of what their home will sell for, but how do you help clients, especially in a transition?
In this market, I have learned, and I said to you this year, this has been a tough market. There's been a lot of cancellations. I personally have found that sometimes in this market, being the first agent they call is maybe not a win, because we can't do a lot of price. We can go in, we can market, shoot the best media, invest our time, do the opens, get people in the door. But at the end of the day, if we can't deliver a number that the market doesn't support, and it does take sellers a while to sometimes understand that, right? We're the reason why things aren't happening. Yeah. We're rarely the reason sometimes why things do happen, but we're always the reason why they don't. So sometimes it's just part of the market that you're going to do all the right things, and it's just not going to be enough because the market just doesn't support what they need right now. And just knowing when to walk away is sometimes it. And again, having the communication with other agents, because you can have a listing and have someone interested in the buyer, but if you can't pick up the phone and call that buyer's agent and say, what are you listing at? Where's the house located? When did they buy it? What's their expectation to get out of it? And have that conversation, you're maybe setting your seller up for a long conditional period of waiting as well. Yeah. So everyone has to work together.
I think there's a lot of agents. I like what you said about, the fact that sometimes it's okay to be the second person in. Because I do feel right now, and especially, what we're seeing in our local market, and I'm sure throughout Ontario, being it's November of 2025, a lot of agents that, I don't want to say lie, but they're not really forthcoming about what the price should be in their mind. And they take the listing anyways. Yeah. Instead of just leveling with the client to really support them in what fair market value should be.
Right.
And then there's all this frustration that comes into play, right?
Yeah.
And avoiding that for the consumer, I think, is a main priority. We're working with our agents all the time on, pricing homes properly, managing expectations, really taking different approaches to value, which I know that you're super knowledgeable with, especially with the view construction. But so many agents are just pricing on font sales. They're looking at, something from 2-3 years ago when pricing was up 25%. And then the sellers think, well, that's what the number is going to be. And so I do agree with you that, coming in sometimes secondary or getting the call back saying, hey, Paige, thank you for leveling with me about the price of our home. We just went through this horrendous experience where it didn't sell. That can be beneficial too.
Yeah. And unfortunately for some sellers, just like it was unfortunate for some buyers in the hotter market where you're like, you guys are doing all the right things. It's not happening. Right. And those were tough conversations. And you're working with these buyers and you're having to call them 30 times over late night, 11 p.m. Really sorry they took another offer, delivering that disappointment. We're kind of doing the same thing, but with sellers. Some sellers just can't sell for less right now. No. And that's a reality. And you want to help them and you want to do all the right things. And at the end of the day, they have to explore what they need to do to sell their house. And if that means they have to call someone else who they think can get it done, then they should do that. Because I'm not going to stand in the way of someone doing what they need to do to move on. So I know I've done everything I can for you. If the last thing is going to be the price, but you don't want to listen to me on that, you might have to walk a really long road with a few different agents before you realize that. And that's okay too.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that if more agents who take the attitude that they're going to create more opportunities of people that are motivated, not desperate, so motivated to do something, whether they're buying or selling, rather than kind of playing that scarcity mindset where you're just attached to like one listing that's going to make or break their year, but then they don't get the listing at the right price, or the seller's, not willing to move on it if it's not selling, and all means to sell it have been explored. That being in a state of abundance and, looking for the right opportunities and just being honest and upfront if it's not the right one goes so much further.
Yeah. Just know when to cut, just like we said, like line in the sand. As an agent, we have to have that too. So I can give you all the pricing. Here's your assessed value. Here's what you've done to the house. I'm pretty confident that this, even new build replacement costs, right? And where you're going to be. But I can't tell you that someone's motivation tomorrow is not going to be different than yours. And you need to get this price out. Someone down the road could be getting a divorce tomorrow or a job loss, and their motivation now is very different than yours. And we can't compete with that.
For sure.
Just like we could compete in a hot market. And I would say to buyers all the time, this number makes sense, but we don't know what that person's motivation is. Have they lost 50 houses and they're willing to just risk it all? Does their parents live around the corner and they need to get on this street? Is this school zone at it? We don't know what motivation we're competing with. So we have to draw a line in the sand and know when to walk away. So as agents, part of it is sometimes you invest a lot into something and it just doesn't work out. And I wish I could make that number happen for you. We all would benefit if I could, but I know I've done everything I can. And if I can't deliver that number because the market doesn't support it, then I have to be okay just to walk away too, because it's draining. It's a lot. I have to open myself up for these events. Another opportunity.
I think that what you touch on there too, especially, a long-term tenured realtor in the business, which I hate to say it, but you are not.
Yeah.
I talk about it a lot in terms of agents needing to find what I reference as new agent energy, going back to places and spaces when they first got their license where they were excited, they were grateful, maybe they weren't jaded from different experiences, which we can all have. What do you do to kind of harness that, excitement and new agent kind of energy that a lot of people really need right now? Because over time, this business can kind of chew us up and spit us out if we're not, continually evolving in that proper direction.
Yeah. I love events like this, like doing this kind of stuff we do out here. It's exhausting. It's a lot of work. My husband hates the lead up to it because he knows I'm going to stir and obsess over every detail and beat myself up about, is it going to be good? Is it going to be a success? Did I do this right? And then I'll crash after when it's successful and I'll rest. But I love it. It's something new. It's something different. And then that kind of motivates me and bleeds out into other things that I'm doing and other ideas and concepts and resale. And it's putting my energy where it's doing something right now. There isn't a lineup of buyers looking to buy resale, and there isn't a full ton of resale that's moving fast. So rather than drowning, this is how I sort of keep my head above water and do something. I'm still getting up and putting energy into something.
Still showing up.
Yeah, show up. Doing something to further myself down the road, right? Like this stuff might lead to a call or a sale 6 months, 2 years down the road, but it'll happen.
So in terms of that, at the time of this shoot, we are November, so heading for the holidays of 2025. I'm guessing that this launches into the new year. What's in store for you in 2026?
Oh boy, hopefully good things. Hopefully less cancellations and more happy happy clients. That's the goal. Yeah, I'm excited that we're going to build a couple more models out here.
Good.
It's nice to see that growth, and it's just exciting to have new things to show people and get excited. I love it. I love walking people through the models and explaining to them their options and kind of like really being a guide to the build process. So I love that. So I'm looking forward to an opportunity to do that more out here. I love this house. I'll be sad to see it sell when it does soon, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm excited for the next event, the next opportunity, the next model.
Well,
you know.
Tell us a little bit more about Halcyon and the product, and just a little bit about this community, or any of the communities that you're involved with. I've been here. This is my second time here. Like I said, it is outstanding. If you see Paige having an event here, this is a property that you should really check out. But tell us a little bit more about the mall here and the product overall.
Yeah, so I think that Halcyon, just like I said, I try to do, they do things that maybe some others do not. And there's a lot of great builders, obviously. I'm fortunate to work for one of them. They have certainly taken their high-end custom approach to building where they started and scaled it into subdivision builds. They're very involved in the process of building, which is something that some agents and buyers might not be used to. They're there to guide and help and assist. They have designers that work right with the team. They have very, very knowledgeable, capable site supers that oversee every detail. So once one step is finished, they have site supers coming in to double check and ensure that things are being done properly. They're meticulous. They will, get it done the right way the first time. And they believe in doing it right the first time, right? It's easy to sell people a lower number, cheap price, and then to get what they really want, add everything down the road. So they do it right the first time, behind the walls, in the insulation, putting in hardy board siding, so it's lifetime. You're not going to fix it down the road. Putting in a concrete driveway with rebar so that it's not shifting and it looks great. Those things that people don't realize that they're thinking of you 10 years down the road makes them good builders. And then the design, I mean, my God, they do it and then they just elevate it the next time, knock it up the park.
It's got a wow factor.
Yeah.
You would not believe.
They know that there was always something around up there. My next big idea.
Your big ideas, but the difference I know about you is that you tend to align your actions with those ideas, and that's why I keep seeing amazing things unfold.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, we definitely try. Our every event we did out here has been a pretty big success. We started with my first spring one, and we probably had 2,000 people out.
Wow.
I had over 500 people through my open house that day. Like, it was a large success.
Yeah, that's super.
Super.
Where can people find you if they want to connect online?
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, Instagram, Realtor PHP, and you'll see all of our events coming up. You can tour our models, see all that, reach out, DM, contact from there. So that's the best place if you want to see the model for yourself, since we hyped it up so
Perfect.
So well.
Well, we will promote that when we launch this. Everybody, Paige Smith at the Realty Firm, who I've had a privilege and honor to work with over a decade. So, of course, that has aged me a little bit. This has been another episode of the No Secret Agent Podcast. We're going to keep bringing you amazing people doing amazing things within our environment at the Realty Firm. And we hope that you take a little bit of action, watch this video, and take one action item, put it into your business, put it into your life, and may it serve you well.